Slippery.
There will be no skateboarding the wet ramp. I think I broke my toe. Hey guys, how's it going? So, a little while back, a subscriber asked me to make a YouTube video about why I moved to Puerto Rico. And I guess a lot of reasons. It's not just one thing. I guess to understand why I personally made the decision to move to Puerto Rico, I guess you kind of got to know a little bit about me. So I was born in Gary, Indiana, and I moved to Puerto Rico when I was around 12 years old. Lived here to about my very early 20s. And about that point, I guess for a lot of us at that age, you kind of want to go off and live your life, seek your fame and fortune. And that's when I decided to move back to the States. So after spending about 20 years, give or take, in the States, my wife and I taking care of sick and elderly family members, kind of just needed a break. Sometimes when you're so focused on taking care of others, you lose your sense of purpose, your sense of direction. So I think one of the reasons we moved to Puerto Rico was kind of to re-find ourselves, find our purpose, get a sense of purpose and direction. After kind of realizing we needed a change of environment, I started thinking about Puerto Rico and kind of how American life, the values I learned in Puerto Rico, I really didn't see in the United States. It's got me thinking about Puerto Rico, and kind of want to come back out here and give it another go. So I guess if I wanted to be cliche, I could kind of tell you all about like Puerto Rico's beautiful beaches and just beautiful mountains and rivers and great nightlife and great food. But while that is a big part of living in Puerto Rico, I think for me, it's really about the culture. And you can't have culture without people. And honestly, the values I learned here growing up, I really didn't see in the United States. And here, people really live those values. I mean, there's so much kindness and sharing and sense of community. You can pretty much go to anybody's house if you see them outside, ask for a glass of water. And there's a good chance they'll probably bring you like a juice and a plate of food. I mean, I think for me, that is definitely the strongest thing about Puerto Rico. Don't get me wrong, you got bad people like anywhere else, and you got your problems like anywhere else, but as far as good to bad ratio, there's way more kind, generous people on this island that far outweighs the bad. I mean, I think after living here again for 2 years, and unfortunately during COVID, which really limited my opportunities to reconnect with old friends and family. I mean, still, the people I meet, the experiences I've had here have been amazing. Experiences I never either had the time or the finances to really experience elsewhere in the United States. Also, I think what creates the culture and the sense of community is a combination of things. I think, one hand, you're on an island, and I think what creates the kindness and the generosity and the helpfulness of Puerto Rican people is the fact that there is a true sense that we're all in this together. Like, you can't deny it. I mean, while in the United States is huge, and you got all kinds, and it's easy to segregate yourself, live in a gated community, live in this area. Here, everybody's got to live together. There's only so much space. And I think that's kind of what makes it work, and I honestly love it. I mean, you can see the mayor sharing a meal with a homeless person, all kinds of things. It just is what it is. Like, there's not as much segregation on the island when it comes to people, classes and things like that. I mean, yeah, you're always going to have that certain attitude here and there. But I think here, kind of like you're forced to live and work with everybody. And it's honestly beautiful. I mean, it creates a real sense of community. Yeah, I gotta say, some other cool stuff about Puerto Rico is there's always something to do, something to see. Free, low cost. I mean, I'm hanging out inside an abandoned airplane off the side of the road. So, yeah. I mean, there's so much beauty here, so much. Yeah, you can spend a lifetime finding stuff to do here. And this is one thing I definitely love about Puerto Rico. Right off the side of the road in Aguadilla, there's an old abandoned airplane. So apparently it's private property. The lady charged me $1 to get in, but still, $1 to hang out at an airplane. I mean, honestly, you can't beat that. Damn it. Bad iPhone. I think another thing I was looking for here in Puerto Rico was just a slower pace of life. And while it can be frustrating for some, I understand. Once you kind of get used to it and get used to the island pace, life becomes so much stressful. You realize how all those things you thought in the States were so freaking important, it don't matter if they're done today. They'll get done. So I'm not sure how good this mic's picking me up, but just want to show you guys real quick the beach I learned to surf. It's flat today, but this is Surfers Beach, guys. That's another reason I moved to the island. Is I will say this about Puerto Ricans: they know how to live. Not just live, really celebrate life. I mean, all the get-togethers, friends, family, just, it's amazing. All the parties. I think that's one thing I really like about Puerto Rican culture is not only do they know how to live life, but they also know how to celebrate life. And that's one of the things I love about living in Puerto Rico. Well, guys, if I had to summarize why I moved to Puerto Rico, I think it was mainly to find a place that's slower, really be around people who really appreciate nature, appreciate life, and really know how to live and celebrate life. And hopefully I'll kind of rediscover myself and kind of see